Hello, my name is Peyton Johnson, and welcome back to Decimos. Today we'll be answering the questions: what is mental health? Can you prevent it? What causes mental health disorders? And we also got a question about what the signs of depression were, so we'll be addressing these here. I would like to preface this video by saying I am not a licensed professional. I am not a psychologist, I am not a therapist, and I am not a doctor. So anything that you see on here is from something like the World Health Organization, the National Institute of Health, or some other research paper that I've looked at and I've looked into. So I'm more than happy to link those. I'm going to link those at the end of the website so you can see where I got all my information from. And I will address all of these to the best of my ability. Remember, this is more of a general outlook on everything. So if you do need serious help, please call the hotline that's in my website. It's at the last page of on my homepage. And I would like to say that there's a trigger warning here. So if you are triggered by any talk about mental illnesses or depression or thoughts of death, please do not click on this video because we will be talking about that. Okay, so the definition: what is mental health? Mental health is a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being. This affects the way that we think, act, and respond to different situations in our day-to-day lives. It's very important to take care of your mental health so that you are functioning at the best level that you can, you're feeling good, and you have a positive outlook on the world. There's a spectrum of mental health disorders and how they affect you. According to the National Institute of Health, there are many different types of mental illnesses that can develop either biologically or by a reaction to something that's happened in your life. Biologically, if someone related to you or someone within your bloodline has a mental illness, you're at a higher risk of developing that mental illness. That doesn't mean that you are definitely going to get it. So a lot of doctors recommend meeting with a genetic consultant or a mental health professional or even just your regular personal doctor to figure out the warning signs and what your exact predisposition to having that is, if that's a concern for you. Second, a traumatic event can also cause mental health issues. In either case, the Centers for Disease Control, aka the CDC, recommends counseling, psychotherapy, medication therapy, or rehabilitation. We got another question about prevention. So while some mental illnesses cannot be fully prevented, counseling with a medical professional is almost always a good option. Talking to someone that is licensed, professional, and in a safe place is always what I'm going to recommend. And there is a hotline again in my website that if you think you're suffering from anything, please click on that. According to a paper published by the World Health Organization, start quote, preventing mental health disorders not only involves targeting risk factors and early symptoms of the disease, but can also involve promoting associated activities that improve the overall quality of life of people and their society, end quote. For example, abuse and substance abuse have been found to be associated with a number of mental health disorders. So targeting your risk factors and what you think your triggers are in your environment is the first step to identifying how to proceed in taking care of your mental health. The goals of mental health promotion and prevention of mental health disorders are to promote the positive individual, societal, and environmental characteristics and to avoid the opposite. So you going to organizations that support mental health and calling professionals, that is probably the best way that you can promote self-advocacy and do the best job of taking care of your mental health. You can also look out for warning signs. So this would be by talking to a professional. You can figure out what those warning signs are, or you can look online for a more specific one. We got a question about the signs of depression, so that's what I'm going to talk about specifically today. So according to the American Psychiatric Association, symptoms must persist for 2 weeks. And the symptoms are as follows: feeling sad, loss of interest, changes in appetite, trouble sleeping, loss of energy, increase in slowed movements that are observable by others, feeling worthless or guilty, difficulty thinking, concentrating, or making decisions, and thoughts of death. Remember that depression is completely different from grief. So some of these are results of grief, but grief is an entirely natural and unique process that usually comes in waves, and self-esteem is usually maintained. So if you or your loved one is suffering from depression, or you think that they are, try to distinguish if you think it's grief or you think it's depression. In either case, getting a professional opinion is always a good option, and getting professional counseling. please do not self-diagnose. Please go to an actual doctor or a therapist and try to voice your concerns to them. There are different types of depression, and it can be treated by medicine and therapy. If you are, well, first of all, medicine has to be prescribed by a doctor all the time, so that's very important to note. If you suspect that you or a loved one is suffering from depression, please call a hotline or speak to a professional. There are many programs out there to assist you if you believe you're suffering from mental illnesses. Hotlines for various concerns are linked on my website homepage. The NAMI Chicago helpline is 833-626-4244. So how do you generally take care of your mental health? Generally, socializing, taking time for yourself and your hobbies, practicing healthy coping strategies, and safely advocating for yourself when you need help helps you take care of your mental health. Personally, to take care of my mental health, I get an exercise every day by going on a walk, or I was on the rowing team for this entire year, so doing that. And then I also made sure to prioritize and maximize studying efficiency so that I don't lose sleep over it. So also making sure you're gaining sleep and you're getting the right nutrients from your foods is a very good way to maintain your mental health. I also try to make a lot of meetups with friends, journal when I'm feeling overwhelmed, and plan time for myself and the things that I enjoy. Like, I don't know, painting, I did that, or baking something, which is what I really like to take time for myself for. Now, these might not work for everyone, and that's okay. Mental health navigation is a very individualized process. And remember that you are not alone. Please remember to send in more questions if you found this informative, or if you have some more questions about mental health or any specific situation you may be dealing with. If it's very serious, please call the hotline. Again, I am not a licensed therapist, so please call the hotline if you're dealing with something truly, truly serious.